I quit my six-figure engineering job to sell tumblers, t-shirts, and ornaments on Etsy. Sounds insane, right? But here's the crazy part. My Etsy business replaced my engineering salary and now makes more than I ever did as an engineer. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I generated income in my side hustle while working full time, and eventually side income that replaced my six-figure salary. And yes, we'll get to the real numbers, but first, let's talk about how I got started. So, what did I do before Etsy? Well, if I'm being honest, I was probably the least likely person to be an entrepreneur. I was always above average at school, and I would say I followed the rules and direction well. Basically, the perfect fit for a 9 to 5 employee. I studied mechanical engineering in college and graduated in 3 years. I ended up staying for my fourth year to get my master's degree in engineering and continue playing baseball my senior season. So after graduating, I went to work full time for one of the biggest defense companies in the world. Basically, my dream job. Over the next 7 years, I helped design radar systems and missile systems just like this. I loved the work and the people I got to work with. But I always dreamed of having a side business as a way to earn additional income and really to just get ahead. I remember watching countless YouTube videos just like this, but never actually taking any action. Until in 2020, when we were all sent home for the pandemic. My sister and I decided to make a wooden dog, a garden decoration for my mom for Mother's Day that year. Eventually, people started asking for their own custom cutouts, and my sister suggested we start selling them on Etsy. I had never been on Etsy myself, but remembered thinking that maybe this was my chance to finally start that side business. So that's how I started selling on Etsy. Over the next 2 years, I spent countless hours building my side business, selling products just like this. After many early mornings, late nights, and full weekend work sessions, I had a successful business. But it required the help of my family to get all the sanding, sealing, and painting done. I struggled with shipping issues as items began to break, and whenever I got busy at work or went on a trip, the orders would pile up. This first business worked great and was the perfect way for me to build those initial business skills, and I'll forever be grateful for those years. It required very little money to get started with very little risk. I just needed some plywood, an old jigsaw we had at home, and a bucket of paint. But I realized I was still trading my time for money. I really just had two jobs, my engineering job and now my Etsy job, until I found print on demand. And if you've never heard of print on demand, I hope this moment is as revolutionary for you as it was for me then. Print on demand is essentially a business model where you create a design for something like a tumbler or a t shirt. And when a customer purchases that item, the order details are sent to a print on demand production partner who prints, packages, and ships your item directly to your customer. And that design that you create one time can be sold thousands and thousands of times over. I remember being so blown away when I realized people were making hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this on Etsy without having to make the products themselves or carry any inventory. I immediately opened a new Etsy shop and started my print on demand journey while I was still working full time as an engineer and running my woodworking business on the side. The print on demand profits quickly surpassed the woodworking shop, and ultimately, I decided to close that woodworking business. I realized the print on demand model allowed me to scale so much quicker. It gave me the freedom to travel and continue to process orders. Like when I went on this Alaskan cruise and continued to accept and process orders seamlessly. I also remember distinctly one moment when I realized the full potential of my Etsy business. I was sitting at work, eating my lunch at my desk while working on a design concept for a new missile launcher that mounted to the side of an army tank. It was a super challenging problem due to the strict requirements and the need to fire multiple types of missiles that each mounted and fired differently. And then my phone buzzed. I got an order for 50 sweatshirts. The customer sent me his logo and wanted all 50 of them printed. He didn't ask for a discount, he just paid the full price. At that time, I was making about $20 profit per sweatshirt on bulk orders like that. So, in 1 minute, I made almost 3 times what I would make that day for my engineering salary. I remember being frozen, thinking, what am I doing? I had spent years learning engineering and physics just to have the opportunity to work on that challenging project. which I loved working on, by the way. But in that moment, I realized I could make way more by having my own business and leveraging the print on demand model. I realized something I believed about the world just wasn't true. And that's when I really started to take my side business seriously. So, what products do we sell now? Currently, we sell four main product types: tumblers, Christmas ornaments, t shirts, and sweatshirts. But there are dozens of other products we plan to expand to over the next few years, and they all have huge potential. We partner with two suppliers, Printify and Inner Circle Prints, who fulfill all of our orders each day. And so I've talked a lot so far, and I know you're like, can we see the numbers? Is this really possible? So here are some real numbers. I've kept track of this because I figured one day it might be a story worth telling, and obviously for tax reasons too. So the orange line is the net income from the Etsy business, and the blue line is my net income from my full time engineering job from 2020 on, when I first started on Etsy. As you can see, the blue line is relatively flat. I would see minor fluctuations each year depending on raises and how much overtime I worked. And I was considered a high potential employee at my company, meaning I got off cycle raises and promotions, but still, it wasn't taking me where I wanted to go anytime soon. And so, if you look at the orange line, what started as a $1,000 profit in that first year eventually turned to 20K profit the second year, 48K profit the third year, 100K profit the fourth year, and then 218K profit in the fifth year when I finally quit my engineering job that October. Now, you might be asking, what did you do differently in that fourth and fifth year? And I really want to highlight this because looking back, I honestly didn't spend more time on my business that fourth or fifth year compared to the first year. I was still working full time as an engineer. I had just developed the skill set necessary to build a successful online business. Things like marketing, customer service, graphic design, structuring offers, and advertising. And those skills began to stack, and I was no longer trading my time for money. So, how can you do this too? Well, first off, you just need to start. If you're anything like me and have dreamed about starting an online business but have never taken action, this is your sign. Start right now, today. It's going to take longer than you think. It's going to be more work than you think. But the longer you wait, the more you delay living out your dreams. You don't need to quit your job and risk everything for a crazy business idea after watching some random guy on YouTube. Don't hear what I'm not saying. Print on demand allows you to build an online business at your own pace. So if you have a job right now, write it out and begin to build the business of your dreams during the 128 hours each week that you're not working your full time job. It's exactly what I did. And be thankful that you live in a time in history when it's never been easier to start a business. So, this can replace your income, just like it has replaced mine. If you don't quit, if you're willing to put in the work, and if you commit to continuing to learn and improve. As Alex Hormozy says to end his book, $100 Million Leads, you cannot lose if you do not quit. So start today. And if you're not sure what to do, my wife and I just started a 0 to 100K Etsy challenge where we're taking a brand new Etsy shop from 0 to 100K as quickly as possible and showing you exactly what to do. You can watch episode 1 here if you're interested. Thanks for watching.